पिबन्तो सुकृतस्य लोके गुहां प्रविष्टो परमे परार्ध्ये छायातपो ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति पञ्चाग्नयो ये च त्रिणाचिकेताः यस्येतुरीजानानामक्षरं ब्रह्म यत्परम् अभयं तितीर्षतां पारं नाचिकेतं शकेमहि आत्मानं रथिनं विद्धि शरीरं रथमेव च बुद्धिं तु सारथिं विद्धि मनः प्रग्रहमेव च इन्द्रियाणि हयानाहुर्विषयांस्तेषु गोचरान् आत्मेन्द्रियमनोयुक्तं भोक्तेत्याहुर्मनीषिणः यस्त्वविज्ञानवान् भवत्ययुक्तेन मनसा सदा तस्येन्द्रियाण्यवश्यानि दुष्टाश्वा इव सारथेः यस्तु विज्ञानवान् भवति युक्तेन मनसा सदा तस्येन्द्रियाणि वश्यानि सदश्वा इव सारथेः यस्त्वविज्ञानवान् भवत्यमनस्कः सदा शुचिः न स तत्पदमाप्नोति संसारं चाधिगच्छति यस्तु विज्ञानवान् भवति समनस्कः सदा शुचिः स तु तत्पदमाप्नोति यस्माद्भूयो न जायते विज्ञानसारथिर्यस्तु मनः प्रग्रहवान् नरः सोऽध्वनः पारमाप्नोति तद्विष्णोः परमं पदम्
Guruji, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Am I audible now? Right. Okay. So in the previous satsang, we studied the first mantra, where he said that to enjoy the fruits of their good deeds. The two refer to the Atman and the Jiva. The to enjoy, when he says to enjoy, we understand that it's only the individual, the Jiva, who is subjected to the fruits of action, because it is the Jiva, it is the individual who comes into this world because of vasanas, who performs karmas, actions. So it is the vasanas, the past forces, the karmas, the present actions. These two are responsible for the karma phala, the fruits. In fact, the present vasanas that you carry are also a result of your past karmas. Your past actions creates present vasanas. Your present actions create future vasanas. So the vasana is the cause, the action is the effect. The action remains the cause and vasana the effect. So this cycle of vasana and action binds us to the cycle of karma phala. The Atman also is apparently enjoying the fruits. It seems to be, because of the sheer proximity, the sheer association with the jiva. It appears as if the Atman also is subjected to the karma phala. But we understood the Atman is the mere enlivening principle. The Atman remains to enliven and remains as Sakshi. Atman does not have the doership attitude, even though while it's enlivening, it does not take any accountability of the karma that is happening. Since it is not the doer, since the Atman is not the actor, it is not subjected to any fruits. Atman does not get bound by anything because it is not the doer. Akarta, it is not the doer. Akartaram, the Shastras say, the Atman is the non-doer. Since it's not the doer, it is also not the enjoyer. The wise people, the knowers of Brahman, call them as shadow and light. The shadow is the jiva, the light is the Atman, the consciousness. The jiva, the individual, exists because of the consciousness, because of the light. Wherever there is light, there is bound to be a shadow. So the entire wisdom, if you want to really, we can, there's so many, it's like the various rays of the sun. If you want to look at how the various aspects of wisdom, how you can actually see and evaluate yourself, the various aspects of wisdom. One aspect of wisdom, in fact, it is said in wherever there is a mention of the spirit and matter, a man of wisdom is measured by his ability to separate the spirit and matter. In the 13th chapter, we're talking about kshetra and kshetrajna, how you are able to separate the spirit, the enlivening principle, from that which is enlivened. So the wise people don't develop any bondage or attachment to the jiva, the matter. You're able to separate the spirit from the matter, the Purusha from the Prakriti. In the 15th chapter of the Gita, he talks of the Purusha and the Prakriti. Prakriti, in other words, is what should be the understanding of the word Prakriti? Purusha obviously is the Atman. Purusha is the consciousness. Purusha is the enlivening force. But when we talk of Prakriti, what's the word Prakriti means? The word Prakriti. You must be able to separate Purusha and Prakriti. Prakriti, you're all taking the literal meaning. What is the philosophical meaning, Amitama?
The temporary, the non-permanent.
No, you are describing the nature of Prakriti. But what is that Prakriti?
It is the world, the material world in which we are.
In fact, if I were to tell you, you are a combination of Purusha and Prakriti.
Mm.
So when the Shastras say Prakriti, what does exactly mean? You're not a combination of matter. When you say matter, you're not talking about the worldly elements. Then what are they talking about?
Sorry, sir, not following the train.
No issues. What does the word Prakriti mean? US, any idea? Sorry, we can't hear you.
It's the body, mind, and intellect.
Though it is the body, but it doesn't, they directly don't refer to the body, mind, intellect. In the Shastras, when they refer to Prakriti, what's the root of body, mind, intellect? What's the cause of body, mind, intellect?
The vasanas.
Vasanas, correct. So when they talk of Prakriti, they refer to the vasanas. Nature. You are defined by your nature. When you say you are defined by your nature is nothing but your vasanas. Your personality is defined by your vasanas. Everything that you, how the way you carry, the way you, whatever you do is your vasanas. So you must separate the vasanas, Prakriti, from the Purusha, which is a spirit. So the real wisdom, a man of wisdom, will understand what is Purusha, what is Prakriti. He separates the two. It separates the two, with whatever the two are. So when the imperishable, so the imperishable is the Purusha, the Prakriti is the perishable. So when the Prakriti perishes, you don't develop any bondage to the perishable, because the perishable has to come and go. That's the nature of the perishable matter. It's all, in fact, when the highest play of wisdom is to look at people from these two things. If you look at people as saying that everybody is expressing their vasanas and their karmas, it's all just happening. Every one of us are exhausting our vasanas and karmas. So if something happens to somebody, you understand it is their vasana, it is their karma, and they are exhausting and they're burned. Once the vasanas are burnt or exhausted, they move on. Their sojourn, their experience ends. It is nothing but a play of their vasanas, play of their karmas. So that is the relationship between the jiva and the Atman. So how should I relate to that combination? Understand exactly like how the Atman relates to jiva, I should relate to others' personality or my own personality. Because the standpoint of, to take from an application, practical point of view, SR, take from a practical point of view, how do you handle the imperishables? How do you handle the change? Everything around you is changing. How should you handle the change? Whether it could be your stock market, whether it could be your investments, whether it could be anything that happens in your life. They go through up and down, isn't it?
Yes.
Maybe it's your reputation, maybe it is your health, everything goes through up and down. So how does one handle the change in life?
In a generic term, Guruji, it's handling the changes. One need to get flexible and change along with events. Not to be rigid and fixed. I'm talking in a generic language. So where in which you can be flow with flow. And
let's say the change is, there are moments where it could be very demanding. The work or the business scenario can be very, very demanding. Okay. The change is you're going to the lower phase of the business world. How should you handle that?
So we consider that as nothing is permanent. It's a momentary. It's like a passing cloud. When we take that concept into our mind, we don't really get affected, get pained.
The whole objective is not to get affected by that phase of experience, right?
Yes.
So when you go through when you're going through the wave, you will be affected. So you should have that capacity to look at it as a passing phenomenon, as a passing clouds, as you say. And where do you get that strength from? That strength comes from
when strength comes from the mental ability of detachment.
Correct. Detachment. Where do you get that strength of detachment?
Okay. Maybe of getting more aware of your vasanas and desires and thoughts.
Well, that also is detachment. Where do you get that detached strength from?
From from the intellect.
Where does the intellect get the strength from?
I think reach
No,
the peak.
you're going in the right direction. I'm only just probing. That's about all.
Yes, yes.
Where does it get from?
I think Vasantama posting engage the knowledge and understanding.
Yeah,
Awareness.
Wisdom will keep flowing there.
Wisdom. Yeah, it's a right probe, Guruji. We didn't thought of that way.
So the intellect gets that ability to be detached from wisdom, knowledge. Wisdom of what? Wisdom of business, wisdom of tourism, wisdom of financial management, wisdom of emotional management. What is wisdom or knowledge of what? Understanding of what? Understanding of that Atma Vidya. One who has the wisdom of the knowledge, what we're talking about, one who has the Atma Vidya, or one who is established in wisdom, he will remain unaffected by all the pairs of opposites, whether be it joy, whether be it sorrow, whether be it success, whether be it failure, whether be it win, whether be it loss, whether be it birth, whether be it death, whatever it is, right from the most meaningless to the most meaningful phase of life that goes through, you will be able to practice the detachment. So the detachment that you are having in you, let's say you have 30% detachment, sir, in you. That 30% detachment is that realization of the self that you have experienced.
Yes.
That self that you have experienced, the self that you have become, will reflect in everything that you do. Because the only thing that is detached to the whole terrestrial world is the transcendental self. That's all. So if you want to remain detached to the entire world, you must take the standpoint of the Atman itself. You must stand on that platform of the self. Then the self sees everything that's going on around it, passing. It's like you're watching from your balcony.
Yeah, your witness.
You're a witness. You're sitting on the balcony, you're sipping your cup of tea, and then you're seeing so many things happening, going around. Different processions. People are doing their things, and you are just sitting and watching them. You have nothing to do with them. It is that objective stance that you take. So the moment you are carried away by that happening, by that proceeding, by that procession, that means you have lost your objectivity. You have got carried away by the prakriti, which is your vasanas. You're involved in it. So the ability to just say, is that so? Just say that, like Kalidasa used to say, is that so? Let it happen. So what? Tatakin. Just say that. So why we are talking of that is because the first mantra, where it clearly says the two words, which is mentioned in the Mundaka Upanishad, but here in the Kathopanishad, he just says that to enjoy the fruits, the Atman is not interested, is not enjoying the fruit. It is just an objective witness. So this is the wisdom. So the wisdom can look at it from that perspective. Yeah. What do you mean you have no choice, Vasantama? What did you mean there?
Sorry, Guruji, I forgot to add, understand. In life, the happenings are just happening. You have to just be a witness. You have no choice. They will happen according to you.
No, glad you said. Why would they happen?
Because of your past cause and effect.
What is the
Karmas.
cause?
Karmas.
Your vasanas and your karmas. Isn't it? Your past actions, which is your current vasanas, or your vasanas and karmas. So I may be dished out with good or bad because of my past. So what I am being received, what is being received is my past actions. How I receive them is my current wisdom. The world may start throwing stones at me. Why is the world throwing stones at me? It is my past karma. I must have done something so terrible that the world is punishing me for that. But how I deal with that is, I have gained enough wisdom not to allow that to affect me. You see this? That's the connection between the law of destiny and law of karma. This is the law of action that we talk about. When we talk of law of causation, the wisdom is how we handle what is presented. What is being presented is past.
Okay.
You have no choice. I have no choice. Because I must have done something stupid. It's like, imagine if I get up this morning and I had a disturbed bowel because the food I had yesterday has not been accepted well by the system. Something is not right. So I'm having a disturbed. I'm not having anything just for the sake of saying I'm saying. I'm experiencing an uncomfortable situation because of my past action. But how I deal with that discomfort is my present wisdom or present knowledge. So you don't measure yourself by what you're being subjected to. Please understand that. You are not to be measured by what you're being subjected to. You measure your wisdom by how you deal with what you're being subjected to. What you're being subjected to is not your current, it is your past. How you are dealing with what you're being subjected to is your measurement of your current wisdom. I hope you understand this quintessential statement. Many people blame themselves for what they're being subjected to. I can't be blamed today for what I'm being subjected to.
Why
what
me?
I'm subjected to is my
Past.
past. So why are you measuring me by past? You must measure me by my present, no? I may appear to be addicted to something because of my past imperfections. But today I am not. I have no interest in it, but still I may be addicted to it. I don't have that weakness anymore, but I have that vasana in me because of my past unintelligent actions. Today I'm not doing that. But still, if you gauge me by what I'm being subjected to, your assessment is wrong. It's very, very beautiful. Something refreshing even for me as I'm saying it. So don't evaluate yourself by what you're being subjected to. What you're being subjected to in the present is your past. But how should you measure yourself is how am I dealing with what I'm being subjected to? Yesterday, if I may quote my casual conversation with Ushama, US, she called me yesterday and can I, with your permission, you have no choice. Yeah, correct. Same thing. You will say, do I have a choice? No. She was talking about how, she just got back spending a little time in the Middle East, in Dubai. And then she was saying, I was there with my daughter. And then the time there is like almost like I was in an ashram kind of environment, she said, because my daughter goes to work in the morning and all myself, and I had the time to do a lot of study, listen to your lectures, and do whatever, catch up with a lot of. I had a luxury of time with me. Then I said, I was just pulling a leg. Okay, what shopping? What all you did? What to see, Guruji? It is a place of happening. There's so much. Everybody is talking about the development and the infrastructure and the tourism. The whole place is like. But you said, what is that great fun? What is it? It has no charm. Did you say that, Ushama? I know you said that, and you meant that. It has no. What is this? It doesn't.
Okay, yes, Guruji.
Yeah.
I didn't miss you. I could hear you.
Yes, correct.
That's very important, isn't it?
Very important. Don't miss me. That's very important. So you are able to. What was the context of me saying this? Gayatri Ma, what was the context I said this?
Change how you relate to the, like Prakriti.
How you relate to Prakriti? You measure your wisdom by how you deal with whatever is presented to you. You're not carried away by it. It can be the most glamorous thing, or it can be the most challenging moment. You don't get carried away. You remain, say, it's lost its charm for you. Okay. Can you please share the first mantra, please, the translation? So these both, the two that enjoy the fruit, seated in the cavity of the heart, the abode of the Supreme, the knowers of Brahman call them as shadow and light, as also the performer of the fivefold fire, and those who have propitiated 3 times Nachiketa fire. Now you should refer to the earlier sections of this text, the Upanishad, where he glorified the yajna, or that ritual of sacrifice, that fire worship. Nachiketa, it's been named as Nachiketa fire by Lord Yama because of that spirit of sacrifice with which Yama, so Nachiketa has approached the Lord. Almost he's immortalized that spirit of yajna or spirit of sacrifice as Nachiketa fire. Now, what exactly that is, you should go back to the earlier section of the text where we have discussed in detail. Okay. We'll move on the second mantra, please.
यस्येतुरीजानानामक्षरं ब्रह्म यत्परम् अभयं तितीर्षतां पारं नाचिकेतं शकेमहि.
May we master the Nachiketa fire, the sacrifice, which is the setu, the bridge for those who perform sacrifices to the highest immortal Brahman, Abhayam, fearless, and for those who wish to cross the other shore, Abhayam, Titir Shatam, Param Nachike, Tah Shakemahi. This for those who wish to cross the other shore. Other shore refers to those who want to reach the immortal, those who want to reach the higher self, the bridge which helps you to cross from here to there. That setu, the word setu means the bridge. What is the bridge? Setuji will explain. Setuji, can you please explain what the word setu means? The most competent person are you, sir. Huh? The question is the word. You heard the translation, sir?
Yeah.
So in the translation, he says the setu is the bridge that helps you to reach the shore of immortality, to reach that shore of Brahman.
Yeah.
So can you explain what that shore here means? Oh, sorry, the bridge means, not the shore. Pardon me.
In the meaning, there is no bridge written, madam. Sorry, Guruji. This
Can you please share the translation again?
to enjoy the fruits of deeds.
We have moved on to the next mantra. Wonder. If you can see the second mantra.
Yeah.
So can you read the second mantra translation, sir?
Maybe master the Nachiketa fire, that is sacrifice, which is the bridge for those who perform sacrifices to the highest immortal Brahman, fearless, and for those who wish to cross the other shore.
Considering we all want to reach the immortal Brahman, considering we are all trying to seek to cross the other shore,
Yeah.
and then they say the only way to get to the other shore is to cross the bridge, which is the setu. Now the question is, what is that bridge? Now, hold on. So what is that bridge? Because it clearly mentions it here. You want to get there, this is the only means.
Knowledge or Guruji.
What does the mantra say?
Maybe master the Nachiketa fire, the sacrifice, which is the bridge for those who perform sacrifices.
What is the emphasis there here?
Huh? Yajna.
So the whole mantra is talking about to be able to master the concept or the performance of performing yajna, which is sacrifice, which is in the context that spirit of sacrifice is known as Nachiketa fire. So we should master the ability to perform sacrifice,
Yeah, Yajna spirit.
to be able to act in that yajna spirit at all times. That's the key. The real key for your spiritual growth is to work with the spirit of sacrifice. So the yajna or the sacrifice is the bridge between mortality and immortality.
That is to give up fruits of action. No anxiety for fruits.
Sir, now that's where I want to perhaps clarify. The next question, or the question that I would like to ask is, what are the benefits of living a life of sacrifice? Because that is the only bridge that's going to get us there. There's no other bridge. There's no other means of spiritually evolving, but acting in a spirit of sacrifice. So the question is a generic question. Can you please start making pointers? What are the benefits of living a life of yajna?
That is you get peace and
Okay, the first point you're saying is when you perform yajna, you get peace, right?
Shanti. That is, and you also you will be tranquil.
Peace and tranquility are same.
You'll be happy, blissful.
I can see that you're lost for words. Tranquility, peace, bliss, happiness, all one and the same. The question is, what are the benefits of living a life of sacrifice? And the mantra says, those who want to perform sacrifices. That means, let's say, even if I were to present this thought to this classroom, how many of us in this classroom want to live a life of a sacrifice, want to be a performer, want to be a sacrificer? Means it's possible that some of us, at times, we don't want to be a sacrificer. We want to be a non-sacrificer. I don't want to sacrifice. Means I don't want. What is sacrifice here? Sacrifice here, Ashwati. What does the word sacrifice here mean? What is the implication? I hope you're following the context. Thanks, Setuji.
Hari Om Guruji. So sacrifice here means to go without, to be able to live without a certain thing in the worldly context.
For whose sake are you doing? Are? Huh?
It should be for our sake.
Hey, I have sacrificed going to Starbucks coffee. Are? For whose sake are you doing? Are you sacrificing going to Starbucks for somebody's sake? I can live without Starbucks. Huh? No, I don't. If that's what you're implying, sacrificing to do without. Huh? What does the word sacrifice mean? Is that what you're implying? Didn't you imply that? No, may not be Starbucks, but I'm just saying that life can go on without something. Because this word sacrifice is a very, very powerful word. So much so, the Shastras are pointing it out to say, this is the means for your reaching Brahman. In fact, in the 3rd chapter of the Gita, he spells it out. Spells it out so beautifully. But Ashwati, continue. Please, can you tell me what is the meaning of the word sacrifice.
I mean, I can't think of dropping the lower and thinking of the higher. So when you sacrifice the lower, you kind of go towards pursuing the higher things in life.
My silence is very difficult for you to handle, is it? Now, Ashwati, the word sacrifice here refers to living a life of unselfishness. In fact, it is sacrificing the lower for the higher. The higher is you must envision a life of a larger good. You're always a symbol that represents, you become a symbol that represents the goal. In fact, you very much become the goal, because everything that you're doing is towards attainment of that goal, and that goal is a common cause. So, Mima, you have not stopped doing what I told you not to do. I have told you to not think parallelly in the classroom. Huh? What I want you to do is think along. Did we talk of selflessness here? Simply you will tell some words. Huh? Selflessness is almost the highest of, it is the highest, but how do you practice that? You start practicing with yajna. So when they talk of yajna, this is only talking of unselfish, because don't talk something you can't practice. Selflessness is almost impossible to practice, because it only means you are talking of the highest, you're working for the highest Brahman. But unselfishness, you and I can do. So in every action that you perform, can you think of a spirit of yajna? Means you are sacrificing your selfish interests, you're sacrificing the lower to serve the larger good, which is the unselfish, which is the goal. So the question that I asked is, what are the benefits of living a life of sacrifice? So sacrifice means unselfishness, culminating no doubt in selflessness, but that's too far-fetched. So what are the benefits of being unselfish? Okay, think along, Ashwati. Do we have that verse, Gayatrima?
The same verse of one mantra 2.
No. I messaged you, chapter 3. You didn't see that. Okay. If you can get the, if we are able to get the source of the Gita, chapter 3, verse 9, please. There, that the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and 16. Please go back to chapter 3, verses 9 to 16, where he actually spells out this particular. If we have the third chapter, we can just run through those verses.
I don't have it, Guruji. It is pre-Gayatri era.
Oh, we are now living in that era. AC, BC and AD. Gems of the Gita இருக்கணுமே இல்லையா? அதுல even on the glory of
I'm
action.
just seeing the pearls only, Guruji.
No, pearls or the glory of action, 100% we did this mantra. The glory of action. Last year, public lectures. Very, very famous. As we get that, anybody can explain what are the benefits of performing or living a life of unselfishness? What are the benefits? And yet we choose to remain selfish and self-centered. Don't tell I'm doing that to this. So if we are all in this channel seeking wisdom, if we're all beneficiaries of this wisdom, if we're all are students of this wisdom, if I can ask simple question and nothing personal, nothing hidden in this question, what are you doing to this wisdom and its source of wisdom? Something is being, hold on please, hold on. Something is being done so that this wisdom reaches you. Am I continue to receive and be a beneficiary of wisdom without me doing anything to its advancement? So what am I doing? Let's be very specific. What am I doing to this wisdom? What am I doing to this source of wisdom? What am I doing to this cause? What am I doing to the foundation? What am I doing to the Guru to ensure that this wisdom reaches me? Not just me, reaches many more. Let's be specific, no? Your child may be doing great service in the world, but if a child kicks you out of your own house, your child is not doing the duty of a child towards the father, towards the parent. Oh, my child is gem of a child, but the child is not there to take care of the parent. He has kicked out the parents from his own house. So that's the kind of situation. You may be saying, I'm doing great service to the world out there, but you're not, to the source of benefaction, you're not taking care. Charity begins at home. You want to do charity, you want to be service-minded, first be grateful to the source of knowledge, no? I'm only trying to pose this difficult question to some of you, if at all, to just check, what am I doing? What can I do? How can I be a giver to this source of wisdom where I am currently, right now, I'm being benefited. I'm a beneficiary. What can I do? And that spirit of, so that thought of receiving without giving, that thought of being a receiver itself should cause discomfort. That means I'm being a taker, I'm being selfish. And the Shastras are very, very clear. Yes, Ma. So please, can you share that 9th verse from the 3rd chapter where he spells it out so beautifully. Sidhuji, I'll come to you just in a minute, sir. This world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna. You are bound. Perform for the sake of yajna, free from attachment. Yajnat that karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Next famous verse, sahayajna praja shushva purovacha prajapati anena prasavishyadvam yeshavos tvashtva kamaduk. In the, wait. In the very beginning, the Creator created us with this spirit of performing yajna. By this, you shall propagate, means you should carry your life with this spirit of yajna. And let that be the milk cow of your desired objects. Next. In fact, 11 and 12 is the same. One is the Vaidikam and Laukikam. The 11th mantra is Laukikam. It's a new Sanskrit. So the connection, the flow of thought is the same. So indeed, the gods nourished by sacrifice will give you your desired objects. Then he says, he who enjoys what is given by them without offering is a thief. This is what I'm referring. I keep taking simply because it keeps coming and I don't do anything in return to the source of benefaction. You're a thief. I am not saying, the Shastra, the Gita is saying. Next, do we have next? The righteous, as Sidhuji just said, the remnants of sacrifice. Such people are freed from sins. These are the sattvic people. But the rajasic people who cook for their own sake eat sin. The next mantra? Oh, we skip. No. In fact, the 14th and the 15th mantra, thanks, Ma, talk of the famous agricultural metaphor. The famous agricultural metaphor where he talks about from the Brahman, first is Brahman, then next he says is Brahma, the creator, then comes all terrestrial actions. From the terrestrial actions comes yajna. When you perform yajna, there is rain. When there is rain, there is food, and food sustains living beings. So in the two verses, he gives the agricultural metaphor. So the first is Brahman, which is unmanifest. Then there is the Brahma, who is the creator, the manifest. From Brahma come out all actions. The various, all of us are performing various actions is thanks to Brahma, the creator, who created us. Of all the actions, the most important of all action is yajna. And when you perform yajna, literally and philosophically, you get rain. When there is rain, there is food, there is prosperity. And where there is food, there is living beings, everything sustains. So, in the order, Shamalama, in the order from Brahman to living beings, what is the center of that?
Yes. Hari Om Pranams, Guruji.
Namaskar. So you, in that metaphor, from Brahman to living beings, what is the pivot? What is the center point? You wrote down the flow from Brahman.
Brahma.
Take that out, please.
Brahman. Can you hear me, Guruji?
Yes, yes.
First is a Brahman, and then Brahma, the creator. And then it is the terrestrial actions, which is yajna, performing yajna. And then we have rains, and abundance, and then we have food and prosperity and sustenance.
Which is living beings.
Life beings.
So how many are there? 7 items are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yeah. 5 items, yeah. That is food, prosperity, and sustenance together.
No. See, there's Brahman 1, Brahma 2, terrestrial actions 3, 4th is yajna, 5th is rain, 6th is food, 7th is living beings, life.
Okay.
Huh?
Yes.
If you take these 7 aspects, what is the center point of this?
Yajna. Performing yajna.
So yajna is the means that connects living beings to Brahman.
To the Brahman, to the higher.
Even in the 7 points, the centermost point is yajna.
Yajna.
And the 15th verse, the last section of that 15th mantra, he says, Nityam Yagnye Pratishthitam, he says. Therefore, the all-pervading Brahman ever rests in Yajna, he says. So, where is Brahman to be located in Yajna? This is a universal truth. The Shastras are roaring to us. You get the message? And if you live a life of non-yajna, you are bound. Finished. Your life is finished. That's what in the 9th mantra I said. Actions performed other than yajna, you're bound. It's a very, very profound concept. Setuji.
We will get contentment and we will also prosper. Because say an entrepreneur who does all actions in yajna spirit, his organization, he will take care of all stakeholders and accept him, and he takes the remnants. Entrepreneur who is in yajna spirit, then all his team will always know. He has no hidden agenda. It can read him and it performs to the fullest. The organization grows and he is happy with the remnants, but remnants will be also good. He will prosper because everyone is performing, everyone is excelling, and organization grows. So this, whenever we do unselfish activity at home or outside, the other person instantly reads it, and they all cooperate. They all perform.
It instantly is recognized by others, right? Your spirit of sacrifice. So you said it gives you peace, it gives you prosperity, it gives you contentment, it gives you growth. You grow maybe at the material level. Obviously, it also you grow at the spiritual level, right?
But you don't grow figuratively. You are at peace always. So you don't perform to do prosper, but prosperity is a byproduct, which
Correct.
again you are detached.
You are detached. You are detached to the byproduct. But what happened in the 10th mantra? I said, no, when you live a life of yajna, what will happen? You will get the kamadhenu in your life. What is kamadhenu? It's that famous mythological cow which belonged to the great sage Vasishtha.
So anything you wish happens.
Anything you want, you will get it. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to run behind the desire to get what you want. It will come to you.
But all your desires will be unselfish again.
You are working for an unselfish cause, but whatever your needs, whatever your demands, whatever is required is met without running behind. So you don't stoop down to leading a selfish life. You will continue to live an unselfish life, right?
Providence takes care.
Providence takes care. Absolutely. There's no other better word to say.
Whenever you do a good deed without any agenda, universe conspires to make it a reality. Your wish. That is the same thing.
Correct. Absolutely. Very well said. That's what it is. Yes. Now, there are certainly, sir. Thanks. Any other factual benefits you can foresee? What are the benefits of yajna other than what has been said? What are the benefits of leading a life of yajna? We have said so far, it gives you mental peace, it gives you contentment, it gives you material prosperity, it helps you grow spiritually, Well, that's an open term that can always be clarified what that growth spiritually means. Any more points? In fact, Ajima, please write in the list. We will create a workshop on yajna. Fantastic concept. It can be given as a module for the corporates. It hits the nail on the head. What are the benefits of yajna? Obviously, any thoughts, anybody? Yes, SR? Obviously, you evolve. Yeah, spiritually grow. That's what we meant. But in what sense, how it happens, we may have clarity required. Yes,
It
sir.
also leads to living a life of purposefully. Yes, that's always we strive to do it.
Life becomes more purposeful. What is the opposite of being purposeful? Spell out what that life is. Huh? Don't say non-purposeful. I'm not looking at dictionary opposite here. What is the life of opposite of purpose?
It's absolutely selfish.
Which
Like
is
you're living a life of absolutely for selfish means.
which is how do you explain selfish, lack of purposeful life? Okay, I'll give you a cue. The two terms used by Adi Shankaracharya and Bhajagovindam.
Okay.
Don't say I missed the retreat. What are the two powerful concepts which are spoken in Bhajagovindam? Which is the lack of purposeful life? Meaningless and aimless life. Those are not the two words.
The Modamati.
It calls a person who doesn't lead such a life as a fool. What are those two things? No, Gayatri, you will not answer that. Hold on, Gayatri ma. Let me ask Sureshi. You've been very quiet, Sureshi. Your silence is very disturbing. Please make some noise.
I was only following, give every man the ear.
Arre. See, even while you're giving your ear, you can't hold back your voice. No, but can you answer that question, sir? That two famous concepts which are brought out in the Bhajagovindam. So either you seek Bhaja Govindam, either you seek Govinda. Seeking Govinda is the life of purpose, which is what SR Srinivaji is saying. If you don't seek that Govinda, he says you are seeking something else. So what is that something else here? The two things he talks about.
Purely terrestrial pursuits like wealth, fame, these are all exercises in futility. And even if you are not able to give time for your spiritual development, at least utter the name of the Lord. Because when the time of reckoning comes, all your scholarship, your wealth, your fame, nothing is going to come to your rescue. It is the chanting of the name of the Lord which will always be with you here and hereafter.
Right? You have mentioned one aspect of it. That pursuit of life which everybody gets into. Gayatri ma, what is that?
Jivan Mukti.
No, not Jivan Mukti.
It's Kanchini Kamana, acquiring and aggrandizing.
It's Kanchana. Kanchana is wealth. Kamini, enjoyment. So the two forces a man lack of purpose would lead is to go through the phase of life where you're constantly wanting to acquire something in life, obviously for yourself, and having acquired, you want to enjoy. Oh, I've got a house in here, but I don't have a vacation house. I've got a vacation house, I want to have a farmhouse. I've got a farmhouse, then I want to have a house in the mountains. I have traveled this part of the world, I want to go there and enjoy that part of the world. All your life, you're running behind your selfish desires, wanting to acquire something for yourself and you want to enjoy. So there is no other purpose, is grabbing that part of the world and I enjoy it. I and mine. I enjoy and my children enjoy. So all that you're doing is acquiring and hoarding for your own self-aggrandizement. Such a life you live, the very thought of not having a yajna spirit, you're bound, he says. You're bound by your own actions, you're bound by your own consequences of your actions. The karmas will bind you. Almost is cursing us. So obviously, yajna is the means of liberation. You get moksha, you get to the highest, you get to Brahman. The benefit of yajna is it is the bridge to enlightenment. Yes, Sureshji.
In this context, Guruji, early 1980s, one of India's most eminent sons, Nani Palkhiwala, he observed, it's a beautiful quote which has remained with me in the context of what you just now said, farmhouse and house in the hills and so on. And I quote Nani Palkhiwala, we suffer from a fatty degeneration of conscience. And the malady seems not only persistent, but prone to aggravation. The lifestyle of too many politicians and businessmen bears eloquent testimony to the truth of the dictum that single-minded pursuit of money impoverishes the mind, shrivels the imagination, and desiccates the heart. The tricolor fluttering all over the country is black, red, and scarlet. Black money, red tape, and scarlet corruption. Unquote.
He would be very proud that he wrote something like that. After you eloquently narrating it so beautifully. Huh? Can you repeat that, sir?
Yeah. We suffer from a fatty degeneration of conscience. And the malady seems not only persistent, but prone to aggravation. The lifestyle of too many politicians and businessmen bears eloquent testimony to the truth of the dictum that single-minded pursuit of money impoverishes the mind, shrivels the imagination, and desiccates the heart. The tricolor fluttering all over the country is black, red, and scarlet. Black money, red tape, and scarlet corruption. No, Nani was a master of the English language. And in the context of our Vedanta philosophy, he also once observed, the inner mind must dwell serene on the heights of eternity.
So true.
Yeah. So his writings are so beautiful, so beautiful.
Indeed. It's sheer poetry and pure philosophy as a blend of both. Amazing. No, one can't lend this vision of what is the benefit of unselfishness. If you really want to highlight it, perhaps I would want to leave this question. You all can ponder and we can come back with it for the next satsang. What are the consequences of leading a selfish, self-centered life? Which is just the mirror image of what we briefly mentioned of yajna. But if we can just answer that points, what are the consequences of being a selfish person. Once you understand that, you will understand the benefits of being a giver really comes to the forefront. Sadly, Setuji, however great one may be a giver, we're all net takers. Because the way the whole orchestra of things are, that we are a taker. The sad reality of us, we are a taker. So since we will remain to be a taker, we should always consciously adorn the garb of a giver. Put on the role of a giver. What can I do? What can I give? How can I give? It's not how much I've given. You never think, oh, I've already given. Why should I give more? That thought would not occur. Would you think like that for yourself? Would you think for your own family? Would you ever think to your own loved ones? You think, I've given you so much, I will not give you many more. You would not do that. So why does that thought of curtailing that act of giving comes? Why do you start rationing that giving? So you should just grow through the means of giving. Now, we are only talking of this because the second mantra talks that the Setu, the bridge for you getting to immortality, is that spirit of Nachiketa fire. He's only glorifying Nachiketa. In fact, he's glorified the spirit of Yajna by giving it a name as Nachiketa fire. So Nachiketa fire is akin to working with the spirit of Yajna or sacrifice. That's all we must understand. Right? So we will come back to the satsang with the question, and then we will get on to the third mantra, where he talks of that famous metaphor of the chariot metaphor. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.